Trey's bag runs extremely deep, and he has the potential to become one of the best point guards in the Eastern Conference, if not the best. And he doesn't hold his tongue for everybody. Quickly dubbing himself as a New York killer, he embarrassed Knicks fans with multiple great performances, and you also have to let them know at the end. Every time Trey kills you from deep, you can't help but think of one of the greatest shooters of all time is Stephen Curry. You can see both of their games kind of intertwine off of one another. His attitude, confidence, and persona is tailor-made for the bright lights. And for a big city like Atlanta, it's nothing but a perfect fit. Next, we shift over to the Western Conference, to one of the most competitive point guards that our league has seen in a long time. And his name is Ja Morant. His intensity was never in question since we saw him make the run he did at Murray State, as he was putting on a hell of a performance during the NCAA tournament. And as soon as he walked into the league, cats knew that he was going to bring damage. And for the Memphis Grizzlies, he brought that grit and grind nature back to the team, as he had a stellar playing performance against San Antonio and Golden State. If you look up in the history books and research one of the youngest players to ever score 40 plus points in a playoff game, you have Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and guess who's number 4? Ja Morant. At only 21 years old, in his second playoff game, he annihilated the Utah Jazz. And if you want to hear another crazy stat, Ja Morant scored 151 points and dished out 51 assists in his first 5 playoff games, making him one of the fastest players in NBA history to achieve such a feat. Mind you, the dude is 21. This dude's talent is all over the roof. We don't know what his prime is going to become. And so far, he's definitely checking off the boxes as a dynamic point guard. Now, staying in the West, we're moving to a player that I'm really extremely high on, and that is Luka Doncic. He just capped off an amazing series against the Los Angeles Clippers. He made sure that his presence was felt, averaging nearly 36 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 10.5 assists. I mean, this dude literally willed the Mavericks in 7 games, regardless of his supporting cast not picking up the bill. He also capped off a Game 7 by scoring 44 points and dishing out 12 assists, making him the youngest to ever score 40 plus in an elimination game. He also scored and assisted over 77 points in a Game 7, which is the first time that feat has ever been accomplished. Now, at 22 years old, Luka Doncic has become one of the best players in the NBA. And I said a long time ago, around 2 seasons ago roughly, that he was the best guard in the NBA. And the way Luka's been hooping so far, I feel like that prediction has become 100% true. And just imagine Luka once he turns 27, 28. Imagine how scary his prime will be then. Luka is an integral part of the faded 2018 draft class, which featured other stars such as Trae Young, like I mentioned in the beginning, DeAndre Ayton, and Michael Porter Jr., who are both stepping up in extreme fashion during these playoffs. Michael Porter Jr., he just capped off a Game 6 against the Portland Trail Blazers, where he had an amazing first half by scoring 25 points off of 9 shots. That's insane. Now moving on to another player that I'm extremely high on as well, the man D Book. I mean, I feel like he is a player that has been slept on for years and years just because Phoenix has a sorry record and their franchise never surrounded them with a competent point guard. Now fast forward to 2021. He teams up with Chris Paul. They're on to the second round of the playoffs, dispatching of champion Lakers in the process. Devin Booker has shown an extreme offensive repertoire that leaves the defense's head spinning. He has a dribble pull-up. His mid-range game is efficient, and not to mention his three ball is one of the slickest in the league. Devin Booker is known to be a proven scorer, and he's achieved a record as one of the fastest and youngest players to hit 5,000 points for his career. And that number has since doubled. His career in the playoffs has started in an explosive manner due to him moving on to the second round, and he is averaging 30 points per game while doing so. He also has a real legitimate chance to make it to the finals this year. Due to Phoenix finishing the second seed, their road to the finals seemed pretty clear. Steep, but still clear. His Game 6 against the Lakers was one of the best I've seen during these whole playoffs, because he looked like nobody was stopping him. I mean, he was lighting them up from 3, pulling up from 30, driving to the rack and drawing a foul. LeBron was even real enough to give Devin Booker his jersey post-game, signifying that the torch has officially been passed. And not only to Devin Booker, the rest of these stars on this list deserve that jurisdiction too. And for everybody complaining about the league's not going to be the same when LeBron leaves or when KD leaves, I say just sit back and watch the games. And one flaw that I do have a problem with is the NBA's promotion of all these new stars. The league has been sold and goal for Stephen Curry and LeBron James for the past 5 years or so that they neglected all the other young stars and the work they've done. So I'm afraid these finals coming up might be one of the lowest rated we ever seen. However, as far as competitiveness and the showcasing of the new superstar talent, I feel like it's a big win for the NBA.